wall.
Not that we ever do that here.
Never.
We're breaking it even worse than we have before.
Wait, there's a fourth wall?
Yes.
Oh, I think
1, 2. Those are portable walls. They're great.
1, 2. It's that I broke that one earlier. It's
Maybe if one of you someday have the chance to be a guest on Semi-Bookish along with us, you'll get to see our state-of-the-art digital recording studio.
Soundproofed.
Yes.
Guys, it's a Yeti mic.
Every
Don't
person-
illusion
I was gonna
yourself.
say, every person who has ever recorded anything any higher than this has gone.
Right. But we are in episode 46, but most importantly, we are 2 years in and some change since our very first podcast.
First and
What's
foremost,
changed? I don't know.
From our very first episode.
Wait, nothing's still, well, no. everything's
first and
changed,
foremost, Jen is no longer with us. I did her eulogy last episode. If you'd like to hear that one.
That was a great episode. Historical fiction, and we say goodbye to our stalwart companion, Jen. We miss her. Maybe we'll phone call her in sometime just to be like, hey, what are you doing? I'm on the clock!
We'll zoom her in at the very last second.
Like, how's Detroit? But anyways,
That's when we text her, quick, Jen, what book are you reading?
we have what book are we reading? What are we? Well, let's start with Lord Ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am still reading Fitzpatrick's War by Theodore Judson. It's a fairly thick book. So I think I mentioned this to both Tony and Andy, but as I was reading through it, there's like these little footnotes, and they were talking about this. So at one point in the past,
If she sees it.
the country of the Yukons, which is kind of the group / culture that we're in the book.
Yeah.
Their government is overthrown.
Their government?
Their government is overthrown.
It's overthrown.
And lo and behold, the date in which this happens was January 6th. So I thought that was a fun little...
Yeah.
This was written in 2004, which makes me wonder, what did Theodore Judson know, and when did Theodore Judson know?
And what was he on?
And what
So
was
I
he
can
on?
also take
So
some.
you can see into the future.
We need to request his emails. FOIA those.
Now that you know that now that I know that it was published in 2004, the entire format of this book makes perfect sense.
Really?
Oh yeah, there was, because David Foster Wallace's Infinite Jest had an impact, but nobody really knew what impact it had. So there were a lot of people at the turn of the century trying to do that in all kinds of different ways and be less David Foster Wallace about it, because everyone who didn't have an English degree had to admit that they had never read Infinite Jest, even though they might have tried. That the only people who actually read that book were his colleagues and people who work at the New Yorker.
And people who work.
Which has since changed. I mean, it's a cult classic. I mean,
We have it here.
Yeah, that's because I have it at home, and I'm like, one day.
No, I'm the same way. One day I'll have to read it right after I read Ulysses.
Right after I read Moby Dick.
Yeah,
I'll go
right.
straight from Moby Dick to Infinite Jest, which I have heard is not too far of a leap, actually.
Okay.
But,
So I'm reading that. When I'm not being distracted by Hades, which is a video game that is pretty fun.
Yes! I love Hades!
Hades is great.
nice.
And I'm getting into Primal. Well, I've been into that since it came out.
Okay.
TV show.
Yeah.
Gendy Tartakovsky, who's the creator of Samurai Jack,
Oh,
which is one of my all-time favorite shows. And season 2 of Primal just came out. It's really, really good.
Good.
It's better than season 1 so far.
Very nice.
And the last episode was very special.
How so?
How so? Well, so it's kind of a one-off. I mean, I kind of hope they do one of these episodes every season.
Yeah.
But this one takes place in the 1800s, and it kind of forsakes the two, the story that we've been following. I won't give everything away, but there is Charles Darwin fighting some sort of man-Neanderthal hybrid. And it's like a classic kind of horror story set up. It's really cool.
Interesting.
But, yeah.
And that was Grant, a.k.a. Lord Ish, for those of you who might have forgotten his full real name.
You're not wrong. Okay. Tony,
Oh.
what are you doing?
Well, I don't know why I said it that way. I'm nearing the end of a book. I think I'm nearing the end of it. It's a pretty long graphic novel, but I'm nearing the end of this graphic novel, which is setting off a whole series of graphic novels that I'm reading, but I'm also... So anyway, Batman and Son by Grant Morrison. Oh my god, yeah, it is Grant Morrison. That's so weird saying your name in front of you. Yes, by Grant Morrison. Illustrated by people I can't remember, but...
He did really well with the original Arkham Asylum graphic novel. That was
you
him,
know,
right?
yeah, that was him. So my history with Grant Morrison as writing Batman is like, I liked Arkham Asylum, okay. Like, I understood what he was doing, I understood that it was masterful, it was not what I necessarily would have gone to Batman for. And then I read The Black Mirror, which I liked a lot, but it felt a part of something bigger that I was missing, and I'm like, have I lost my mind? Like, what's happening? There were a lot of, it was just stuff was happening, and I didn't really necessarily know what strings they were dangling or connecting to, even though you could tell there were strings dangling, connecting to this thing. So I was like, all right, this was fun, but I still don't know, what I'm looking at here. And then I realized or read or watched a featurette or something that said he basically invented Damian Wayne, and I was like, oh, well, in that case, I need to go, he's got a whole, saga, basically, with Damian, that I was like, I need to read the guy who invented Damian, because Damian is my absolute favorite Batman character, bar none.
I didn't know he invented him.
Yeah, because there was a storyline in the 80s, no, in 78, 70s or 80s, one comic in which Bruce actually slept with Talia, and no one did anything with it. And he was like, it would be interesting if a kid came from that.
That's like good virgin storytelling.
Yeah, right. It's like
grab onto that.
Yeah, right. And it was the early 2000s, and he's like, what would a kid of Batman's be like? Especially if it was a kid of Batman in town. Oh, and he just,
Surprise, here's Damian.
Yeah, he built this whole, thing, and it's really fascinating. And he writes Damian much better than the other people I have read, because they just don't get... They take, the sort of idea of Damian a little too seriously and forget that, he's a child, and what is destabilizing about this whole thing is that he's Batman's child.
I think it also helps that he created Damian, so he also has a little bit of a insight into the original.
Well, but there's also, the whole idea of Damian is that he is both his mother's child and his father's child. And so he's not... He's the kid who has been raised by the League of Assassins to become an assassin. And he's 8. So he's as good as his father without being trained by his father. And in, Batman and Son, for example, one of the first comics, he attacks Tim Drake, fully attempting to kill him. Batman's out on patrol, and he's just like, you're supposed to be Robin, huh? I'm inheriting my father's kingdom, which means you have to go, because I have to be Robin before I can be Batman. That's how these things work. He's the Dark Knight, I'm his apprentice. So he just attacks him, and Alfred is the only one that can stop the kid from killing Tim, because he's fully intent on killing Tim. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense to me. Having this whole weird relationship between Bruce and him doesn't work unless...
There's a reason,
Yeah, you have to give Damian stuff to do. He has to actually kill people, and killing the Joker, that's just easy. It's just
that happens every other episode.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh yeah, okay, Damian did the one thing Batman can't do. We saw that already, Red Hood.
Poor Jason Todd.
Yeah, and I love Jason. Jason's my second favorite, but Damian was great. So anyway, that's what I'm reading right now.
Words of Bat wisdom from the mouth from the south.
I love Batman.
AKA Tony.
It's my thing.
Yeah.
And Supreme Overlord.
All the way around, Aaron.
Alright, anyways, so, first of all, I started it. I haven't gotten too far past it. I started Stray. It's a game where you are, you are
It's the cutest thing ever.
You are a cat.
Uh-huh.
You are, the main character is a cat. And the whole entire thing is, you have, a whole bunch of, cat friends. This is, how it starts out. I'm not going to spoil much because I haven't gotten that far. But you have, a whole bunch of cat friends, and you guys are, going around, and it's a cyberpunky type universe.
Oh.
and stuff happens, and you get separated from your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have to go home. And so you are the cat trying to go home in this cyberpunk city. And it is the most awesome and adorable thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
That is very interesting.
It's actually really popular right now
Is it?
to try to play.
Oh, cool.
And then meanwhile, because I finally bought it, because I didn't want to buy it on Epic, I finally started playing Saints Row 3, the remastered edition, just to compare the two. And then I'm also replaying Skyrim because my friends and I, when we finally meet up in October, we're going to be doing a Skyrim marathon. And so I have to recreate a character, and so I'm doing a Dark Elf character who is,
Oh, you know.
I was either going to do that or a Wood Elf, and I couldn't decide, and so I flipped a coin. Therefore...
You know, I gotta tell you, as far as... The only time I never want to be an elf is in Skyrim.
I usually play Bretons, but I decided to just do something different. So, you know, Dark Elf character.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I'm also reading Bird King by...
G. Willow Wilson?
Yeah,
Ooh.
a.k.a., for those who don't know, they're the person who created Miss Marvel.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Basically, the format of the whole entire thing is you follow Fatima, who is the concubine for Granada, like the royal court, which is like one of the last like Muslim emirates in Spain at the time. So this is like way back in the past. This is like the thousands.
15th, like 11th century. That's right. Yeah, 11th.
This is like way back there. And she has a friend who's the palace map maker, and he has a special power where he can basically create maps for anywhere, even if he hasn't seen it. And so, you know, they're best friends and everything, but it turns out that, like, you know, if it gets revealed that he can do this, Hassan will be killed for sorcery. And so now she has to decide, does she stay loyal and stay in there, or is she gonna, you know, risk her life and everything to save Hassan from dying from Christian Spanish rule, which is a whole other, like, that's the incoming.
This is right before the Inquisition, then.
Yeah, this is like when everything is transitioning over to becoming Christian in Spain.
Yeah.
So they're like the last.
Yeah. So
stronghold.
The Inquisition's probably started.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
Oh, and I've been told, Jen is reading Radio Silence by Alice Osman.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
How did you contact her from beyond the grave?
I have telepathy. I'm a wizard, remember?
So
I am the supreme
really just
overlord.
asked her
This
how
is
she
part of my power.
Split my mind up.
How she communicated with a ghost.
I have a Ouija board, and while you guys were talking, I went over in the back corner, used it, and, you know, she told me from beyond the grave that that's what she's reading. Anyways, Andy, your turn.
Yes?
No, I was...
Oh, you guessed like you were going to ask something.
No.
Yes, it is me, Andy, your dungeonist of the Dungeon Daddies. Oh, I love you for that, Grant. I am speaking of dungeons, I recently finished. I finished it a few days ago, and I'm still kind of basking in it, like how thoroughly I enjoyed it. Dragons of Deceit, a Dragonlance novel. In fact, the first Dragonlance entry from the original Chronicles authors, Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, they've really come out in good form for this. And it's like, if they were to listen to this, thank you, you two. Thank you so much. This... It treads so much familiar ground, almost annoyingly so. There were some familiar things that, like, flaws. Like, as I was reading it, I'm like, this is good, I'm really liking this is wonderful, this is lovely. I wish they weren't discussing this. Like, it's hard without, if anyone ever has any hope of reading, I'm not going to spoil it. But they do revisit old characters, because it's true. The Chronicles, the first three books that came out in 84 and 85 respectively, follow what is called the War of the Lance, in which the world doesn't know about dragons, the world doesn't know about gods, because gods have since abandoned the world, and signs of the gods start coming into the mix, and dragons, evil dragons, start appearing. And, you know, this book takes place a couple years before, during, and a couple years after the War of the Lance. At this point, the heroes of the Lance are famed. I mean, some of the people that are living, the protagonist of this book meets them with awe. Like even a dragon, one of the characters in the book is a dragon, and he meets a hero of the Lance, and he's in awe. So they cover some of the familiar territory of stuff with that, but at some point you realize, oh no, it's when the book becomes a roller coaster. You're like, oh my God, they are, for lack of a better way, they are 2009 Star Trekking the heck out of the Dragonlance narrative.
In a good or bad way.
I'm angry that the next book isn't out yet, so in a good way, I think. Okay. But when the full story is told to its conclusion, I will then give my... Because like it really, at the end of it, I was just trucking along like it was such a good reading experience, and I had to read it. I felt like I had to read it rather than listen. It needed to be as true to my original, but I couldn't wait to actually get the book delivered. I just got the Kindle version, and that counts.
Okay. Well,
yeah. But so, thank you, Margaret Weiss. Thank you, Tracy Hickman. It's wonderful. And something about the fandom, I need to comment on the fandom of the Dragonlance. That I love you guys right now. I didn't notice it initially on the cover, despite looking at it multiple times prior to its release. It never clicked until they're describing something. The ethnicity of the protagonist is this Destina. When they start talking about what country because her mother's not a native Salamnic, which is where her father's from. That's the country that has the biggest and best knights of the realm.
Oh, sure.
They're talking about him, but they talk about her mother is from Urgoth, which is where the Africa equivalent to the Dragonlance world, Kryn. And I'm like, wait, what? So I had to go back to the cover, realizing I can't tell that well from my Kindle cover. I have to go to the website, Google search to see the cover. African American protagonist, female protagonist, African American. Well, not really American, I guess. You know what I mean?
African, but yes.
And I'm like, I haven't heard anything yet about anyone like crying about there being a female protagonist or black. So, and right now, most of the fandom that I'm paying attention, they love her.
Well, nice.
And I'm like, thank you, Dragonlance fandom.
Yeah.
Maybe I can lump you together with the Avatar: The Last Airbender fandom because you're not vile yet.
So there's no pocket industry of like YouTube people complaining about.
I haven't detected
like they are about the new Lord of the Rings series.
Oh my gosh!
Or
what is going on with that?
I have no clue.
It is so weird to me that people have a problem with this thing, and I'm like,
it's an adaptation.
But here's the problem. Here's the thing. I could understand.
Off the rails.
I could understand if like the Tolkien oh my gosh, if the Tolkien obsessives were like, oh my God, he never wrote anything about the Second Age. What are they doing? That's a fair complaint, because you know what? He wrote like a page about the Second Age. Nobody knows anything about. Like the diehard scholars are just like, we don't know what the show is going to be about. Apparently, it's about the Second Age. Sure, if they were complaining about that, fine. That's a fair complaint. Complaining that the casting isn't Middle Earth enough for you.
Define Middle Earth.
I don't know what to tell you. I literally do not. I don't know.
And this
like,
is all
what?
Not even taking into account that the show's not even out yet.
Right.
Or is it out?
No.
No.
House of the Dragon comes first. I'm so excited.
No,
fandom. Fandom.
I'm not.
Describe Middle Earth to me in easy ways without making it sound terrible.
Maybe I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because
That's your dare for the week.
I don't have an enormous amount of hope for it just because I don't. For things in general, no.
Oh, it looks really fun.
Rings of Power is the one that you're talking about, the show?
Yeah,
September 2nd.
They're anxious for the wrong reasons. That's where I'm coming from.
No, I agree with you. I agree. Yeah.
I really don't care how close it is to the book.
I do want you to know, and this is tidbit for the future podcast. We're going to have Tony and Team Talk Tolkien.
I hate it.
Please tell me that's exactly what the title's going to be.
We did have a Tolkien episode coming up, didn't we?
Yeah,
we do.
Apparently we're doing 2.
We're doing back to back.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Because we need to talk Tolkien, our fears for the upcoming show, just Tolkien in general, fears for the upcoming show, and then maybe if we can get on board and all 4 of us watch at least the first couple episodes.
Oh, I'm already there. I mean, you know.
Of said show. And
what
then,
episodes are we doing this? Can I bring popcorn?
Yes.
Yes.
We will get popcorn.
I don't think it's going to be super contentious or anything.
No, I don't think so.
I'm
Because
still
it's
bringing
like-
popcorn because I'm just going to say the most antagonistic thing.
Well, because none of us are those Tolkien fans. Like,
Right.
if you don't know the 12 strands of Elvish spoken by Gil-galad the 15th, like,
No,
I don't.
A lot of these people had no stake in Tolkien's work until they could make money off of complaining about it.
Well, and to be perfectly honest, too, that the problem...
We should talk about this during the Tolkien
You're right.
episode.
That's true. That's
You're
true.
right.
We should
Yes.
talk about what we
Thank
want
you.
I
in
can see.
future
Yeah,
episodes.
leave it alone.
please.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah. Leave it alone.
I'd like to know
Somebody throw me a bat.
Right.
what everyone's favorite episode has been
Yes.
so far.
Ooh.
In the past 45 episodes, that was something we talked about.
What is the first episode that comes to mind when you think of the podcast episodes? Tony's like, I don't know.
Really unfair. I've listened to most of them twice.
Though
Oh, wow,
my
at
favorite one
least.
has to be the Give Your Heart a Hug one.
See?
Cause
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Andy was talking about the Rosie Project, and there's just one moment where you, me, and Jen all at the same time say, "Oh no."
Oh, yeah.
But it is the exact same second at the exact same time.
Yes.
We were all sharing one exact brain cell, and then
Yeah.
all thought the exact same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It was "Oh no."
That's,
And
yeah.
that's one of my favorites. And then I also like the episode we did with Tim,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
the
I do need-
fandom
which
menace.
I will come
I've
back
been-
to later when I have other things to say.
I've been meaning to listen to that one again.
Actually, I'm going to piggyback really quick. 2 of my favorite were, I mean, we've had some. I gotta list my 3 favorite really quick.
Okay.
The first Star Wars one we did,
That was funny.
That's one of my
Attack of the
Probably my
Nerds.
least-
If we're judging by sheer decibel level, yes.
yeah.
That was
That's
my
gonna be
least favorite episode. Honestly.
That was one of my favorites.
Okay.
The Fandom Menace one with Tim from
Yeah,
Rad
I
Raptor Comics,
really like that
just
one.
around the corner from the library.
Yeah.
And I'm going to mention it again later in the podcast when we go to another question. But I really, really, really appreciated and enjoyed Give Romance a Chance, the romance
Yes,
genre
yes, that's up there.
podcast that we did.
We had a lot of
Oh,
fun
that was
digressions.
Jen's other podcast episode.
We did, it was more than a year ago. We did it in time for Valentine's Day. Because everyone's very judgmental about romance as a genre.
Which is really strange, but yes, they are.
And, I mean, I've never had anything against it. I just didn't know. And I still am not a swimmer in that vast sea. But
Okay.
I love getting my feet wet. I love diving, washing in it. And
Yeah.
because what I've read, I really, really enjoy. And what Jen likes to say that, more or less, she wants a happy ending.
From the grave.
Oh, well,
I
yeah,
want a
yeah.
happy ending.
Yeah.
And I
It's
think
a romance novel.
people try to diminish that, like, because it's not, and a lot of it, some of it can be thought provoking from different, depending on how you interpret it. But no, I think that was just hands down, that was one of my top 3 favorite episodes because I really, really enjoyed it. Like, I'd been talking to her for a little bit, talking to you for a little bit, and even during that podcast, I felt like I learned a great deal, and I feel like it resonated with people that listen to it.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's good.
So yeah, those are. I just had to grab that from the nerdy one with Tim. Tony or Grant?
Grant, you have to go. I don't know. what my favorite is yet.
The romance one is definitely up there for me. That was just a fun one in general. I feel like out of obligation, I have to say the Dune episode. For me, I'll be selfish and say
Yeah,
that
no,
one.
that's
No,
good.
yeah,
Good
no,
one.
fantastic.
I'm glad that's one of your favorites
Um,
because I didn't know if we were like shredding your baby apart.
No,
That was a good
I just
one.
like talking about it.
Oh, nice. Good. Yay.
Let's see. The video game was fun.
That was a good one.
We need to do another one of
Even
those.
though it kind of devolved into a
The video
philosophical argument
Yeah.
about what constitutes art.
Yes.
But
No, but I like it.
But
was
no.
fun. That was fun in its own way.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
We should have another one of those.
Yeah, because there were specific series and stuff I wanted to talk about in that we didn't get to.
Yeah, that was really fun.
From Page to the Silver Screen, I think that went well. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, I haven't listened to that one in a
Yeah.
while.
I think that's kind of when I stopped.
Is it bad? I don't even remember that one.
Movie adaptation.
My least favorite one was probably my
Your book
the
recommendation episode?
The first book, I'm thinking of ending.
Really?
Only because I didn't fully realize what I was doing when I was choosing the book. I didn't realize that it was going to be like a full-on book club
discussion?
type thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like a small part of a larger episode or something. So
Oh, no, that's
No.
I wasn't like prepared for, I wasn't really.
No,
prepared
that was
for
a pretty good one though. That was really going off into like a genre that I typically will never touch. I mean,
Really?
It's not my jam. Like I don't not like it.
No,
Just when I go through the thing, like I could walk into a bookstore, like I'm gonna get the most psychologically thrilling whatever book,
The most
suspenseful.
psychologically destroying book I've ever read
But
in
I'm
my
like,
entire
I'm
life.
stomping my way into the bookstore,
And he leaves with
Ooh!
an early 2000s Stephen King.
Fantasy stuff. No,
They give him Doom a key, and he's like, "Oh, I haven't read this one yet."
but like I could go in there looking for something, and I will get distracted by the fantasy sci-fi section
I get distracted
Yeah.
by the manga section. I completely understand.
or the graphic novels. I will always stop by the graphic, even if I have an armload of books. So it's like I enjoyed the book. I still want to watch the Netflix show.
I'll say like by my rating scale, I'd give it like a C+. The book.
Okay.
But the movie is far better in my opinion.
Oh,
I'm thinking of ending things.
Yes. However, I wish they would have kept some things from the ending of the book in the movie. I think what's his face, Charlie Kaufman, got a bit too Charlie Kaufman in the last like 25 minutes of the movie.
That's how I
That
feel
sounds
about,
like Charlie Kaufman.
That's how I feel about
I generally-
Miyazaki's Howl's Moving Castle.
I generally love Charlie
Yeah.
Kaufman.
But I still love it though.
Synecdoche, New York, for anybody who hasn't seen it, is like a 10 out of 10. One of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But anyways.
I think
Middle
my
of it anyways.
favorite is the most recent Christmas episode where we pitched Hallmark movies at each other.
Oh yeah.
Fun.
We pitched Hallmark movies at each other for ideas.
It was
I
fun
remember
to
that.
listen to. It was very light and
Yeah, that was fun.
When we
That was
had that
fun.
whole entire chart that we could go off
yeah,
of.
no, that was really fun. And then the Ryan episode was great.
Mm.
It was very fun.
I really enjoyed that one too.
I've enjoyed all of our interview episodes.
I have.
I think we should do more of them.
Yes.
We did Ryan, we've done the mayor, and Tim.
Uh-huh.
We've done 3 so far.
If
Uh-huh.
We need to do more.
We're recording. I have thoughts. It's fine.
Maybe I'll have to edit that.
no, we're leaving that in, but we're going to come back to that
Yeah.
after recording.
Quite literally.
But okay. I don't know. The Hallmark movie one, I actually had a lot of fun with it, but I don't remember it much. Like, I'd have to listen to it again.
Yeah, that
Like,
just really
which
like
one?
that one.
The Hallmark, where we're like creating our own Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
There was a certain silliness to it, which we go back and forth as we navigate the current state of semi-bookish. Hold on, I'll come to you.
I have an idea. I'll just keep my hand up. Keep going.
I find sometimes that I crave the silly ones, but sometimes the silly ones aren't my favorite. Sometimes I want a serious one, and sometimes that's not my favorite. Sometimes one turns intentionally serious, I love it, or one turns unintentionally silly,
Silly, right.
and it's brilliant. Like the Star Wars one, that was intended though. That was an intended one. The video game, I forgot about that, but the minute you brought that, I'm like that I could even throw that in one of my top 5 because
Yeah, that one was.
that was we had a loose outline for that.
We threw it out the window.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Thanks, Roger Ebert.
Yeah. But Miss Supreme Overlord.
Okay, so I have an idea for a really funny, silly one for later. Do you know that basically, if you've ever saw it depends on how you look at it, you could do it either way. If you look at the summary for a horror movie and then the summary for a romance movie, you can really rarely tell the difference. What if one day we just came to each other with a just a random summary?
You have to decide.
Either or, and we have to decide if it's horror or romance or comedy. Because comedy is also one that you could throw in there.
Or even just brainstorm how you would do it if you had each. Like if you had this plot, how would you do it for each?
We should have like
Different one.
a thing of plots I'm gonna pull it out. We have to
Is
come
that
up with
little
a summary.
conspiracy theory board that we have up in the back workroom?
But they have to, but they have to be plots from stuff that's already like that's.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So like you pull something out and it's.
Or
the
like we
plot
have
to
like,
it,
or we have
but
like,
you have to write it as a romance novel.
like we have like a thing of like movies, and then we have to come up with a really bad summary.
Yeah, either or.
That could be fun. I like that.
Silly episode ideas.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
It's kind of like a 15-year-old teenager idea for an episode, but I thought it would be fun if we like did a fictional character death match like bracket.
We're gonna do
thing.
March Madness
Yeah.
with a fictional
March Madness,
character.
yeah.
Okay, so honestly,
I did write that down somewhere.
I have to tell you, and I will try to dig this up and send you guys a link in Meepthorpe. The SFF community did this a decade ago. I think it was about a decade ago.
The SFO.
Science fiction and fantasy community did this about a decade ago. I want to say it was. I can't remember which website did it, or if it was multiple websites or whatever. But I know that George R. Martin, Patrick Rothfuss, all of Brandon Sanderson, everybody was involved, and they did this. It was basically this whole cage match with the biggest and brightest and best. So at one point, Aslan went up against the protagonist to Name of the Wind, and Patrick Rothfuss had to write the fight.
Yeah.
Which of course he unfairly gave both the edge, and I'm like, over Aslan, please.
Who did he give the edge over Aslan?
His own character.
Oh, his own,
as he gave his. But then at one point, George Martin had to write Jaime Lannister versus Aragorn.
Ooh.
And he was just like,
can Aragorn win?
Yeah, George Martin was like, how do you even what is wrong with you people? Are you kidding me?
Numenorian versus
right.
mere human.
Right. He's like honestly this could go either way, because if Jaime's got a Valyrian steel sword, bye bye Aragorn, but at the same time, this is the guy who's designed to take on 10,000 literal orcs.
For Frodo.
Yeah. I think there was a Gandalf versus Dumbledore. I mean, it just they had all of these awesome cage matches, and it was you say 15-year-old boy, but it was literal very, very grown people getting into rage fits.
It's fun
over who won, who didn't, who should have won, who shouldn't have, what was it was.
Stay tuned, folks,
great.
for those.
Now, should we? Okay. Thought process of how this episode would play out. Should we create a list? We put a pool of people and we match them up. We create this and we set a timer. We set a timer at the beginning of okay, matchup 1. Ding ding ding, little bell, it's
Yeah.
Do you
and
want
then
me to
we
do
get
JR?
7 to 8 minutes to back and forth that, and at the end of it, when the timer goes up, ding, stop. Okay, we vote on who wins.
I just want Lizzie Bennet versus Jane Eyre.
Can I do the J.R. Ross voice?
Fuck on!
Fuck off! Here's Jane Eyre over the chair.
That's a good question, Andy. And also, who would we do it by majority vote, or would two people when one person argue for one person, would we randomly assign stuff?
I think it'd be funnier if you assigned two people to just give their best shot, and then one person just goes, "Yeah, this one."
But it would be kind of fun to have a time limit set on it, so that you actually you had 5-10 minutes to duke it out, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, and if we could have a fifth person, because that vote would have to go one way or another. We couldn't have 2 against 2.
Yeah.
We each could have our own pet person we throw in the ring. That we really
That's the lifeline that you throw in at the end.
Which something too. This is for future podcast discussion too. We could save it for later or a different conversation. But I want to talk to Chelsea, and I want to work out with. I mean, I wanted to get other staff members involved.
Minus mother. Minus mother. I forgot.
Well,
her.
even if we had from top down, I could see Jen Brzezinski popping in here once in a a while. Chelsea, if she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to. But I think it would be good. I think she'd be fun. We got Zach. I know he's got a lot of fun stuff to say.
That's true.
I was very sad he wasn't able to come for the DC episode, because there would have been.
This is when we need DC Part 2.
There would have been literal flames. Yeah.
I would love for.
I will bring the popcorn.
Wait, did we give them a code name up there? What was the code name?
Batman.
Mother.
Yeah. Mother.
It was Mother something, and I don't remember what it was.
Mother Brain.
Mother Brain.
Oh,
Which one's
got it.
Who's mother?
Megan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
She's the mother brain because she's the brain. You know,
That's
she has
right.
some great ideas.
Yeah.
I would love to have her on here sometime, but you know, such is life. She doesn't want to. But if we could get like Kathy or
She helps out in other ways.
we get our circ supervisor coming on here, something like if we click,
Our bilingual help
yeah.
outreach human.
If we could, and this would be planning ahead,
Sure.
scheduling with like Chelsea. Hey, can we make it so that they can be here?
Yeah. Right.
Which I think it would. And if we have to shift things around, I like our formula, but I want more. Which,
Okay.
that could be. I don't know. I think that could be fun because that could also. The minute we had 5, ding ding ding, you could.
Yeah. For a tiebreaker. Yeah.
I think it's probably a pipe dream, but I think if every once in a while we could pull off like a longer episode, like hour and a half, 2 hours, because
Like once a year or
I feel
twice
like-
a year, maybe.
or something, however
That's
frequently
an
we could get away
interesting
with
idea,
it.
actually. Yeah.
Just because I think some topics could
warrant a longer.
warrant a longer or looser structure, where we just kind of go off on tangents and stuff. Or
No, I think that's true.
What would
I
we
still
call that? The
think we-
state of the bookish.
State of the Bookish.
I still think we need to do a live streamed episode where we're just
Yeah.
yelling at each other for 2 hours.
The State of the Bookish. I actually like that.
Special episode.
State of the ish.
State of the.
Also-
Oh yeah, yeah.
State of the ish address.
State.
That's
of
just
the
where
book.
We have some little like presidential music. Dum, bum, 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 bum.
you all just evaluate me as a human being, and I cry by the end
It's
of
the roast of Lord Ish.
Did we really have to make this a 2-part episode, guys?
That could be.
I thought 1 week was good enough.
I think that could be a good, that actually roasting characters, roasting authors. Like we could have.
I think we've roasted enough authors.
No, we should do more. I have a craving.
I am anti roasting the author.
Okay.
Just because they're people.
From
They are. Their characters are not.
the grave, I'd
Their
like you all to
characters,
know
their
that Jen has
characters are
sent us
made
some
and
popcorn.
created. Like I will roast all day long, choices that actors make on screen.
Yeah.
But I will never roast like the actor themselves. They're still a person. They,
There's
they
a
get
couple
they
that I
get to
would
do
roast.
that.
I'd like you all to know that from the grave, Jen has informed me popcorn.
Popcorn.
For what?
She has sent me popcorn.
Oh, I was like, wow.
She has sent us popcorn from
Oh, I
beyond
see.
the grave.
I see.
I'm so hungry right now. I want
Yeah.
kettle corn. Kettle corn sounds really
Corn
good.
actually sounds really good. Speaking of going off topic.
Okay. Also, kind of future things that Aaron and I have been bouncing around, leaning into like back and forth, like 2 podcasts a month. That's what we're doing.
Mhm.
We want to start. I kind of want to do it for like 2 years, but like sometimes
Interviewing
exhaustion.
a few people more.
Get more community members on here, or maybe
Okay.
not just people from the community, but like if we knew like some weird celebrity was going to be in the area, try to get them.
Weird celebrity. They're gonna.
I'm
look at this
emailing
episode and
Christian
be
Bell,
like,
and he is
"Really?"
just down the road. No,
There's probably some authors. I'm sure there's some authors.
Local
I
authors,
mean, a few
local-
years ago when Michael Bay was out here doing Transformers.
I would
That's
recuse
right.
myself
He
from the episode.
was. Yeah.
but not, they don't have to be that top tier of like a celebrity, but like, but
I don't. I have
Can I
nothing.
just do a little aside?
I have
Yeah.
nothing nice to say to Michael Bay.
Yeah, neither do I.
he's like, wait, she's like, I want to take that back. I want to roast Michael Bay.
No, I mean I don't really have
The
anything.
roasting of
No,
Michael
what-
Bay
I don't have anything to say to Michael Bay. It's like he is just someone who
exists.
they gave a camera. I don't know why they keep giving him a
I don't
camera,
know.
but they do.
He does good explosions.
I don't even
He
know.
does
He
explosions.
doesn't even
Anybody
do
can
the
do
explosions.
explosions.
Yeah, he does
just tells you to do
I don't know that he
explosion there.
does good ones.
No,
He just does explosions.
Really quick, my the directing teacher at the film school I went to, he got kicked off a Michael Bay set when he was filming in Michigan because he wouldn't shut up and he kept pestering people.
That's
Anyways.
hilarious.
Anyways, I didn't like him. But-
Oh no, I can imagine you wouldn't. No,
Yeah.
no.
I don't like Michael Bay, but I wasn't a fan of it.
Of the teacher, right? Yeah, no, that's fair.
Anyways, I just thought
But
that was funny.
it would be a cross-promotional kind of exercise too. Like,
Sure.
it's partially that too.
I have a list.
We have.
List.
She's better at taking notes than I
We
am.
made
I'm
a
glad
list.
that you have a list because I can't think of anyone that I would. I honestly.
Well,
We'll open up discussions again, like
Yeah.
online, and just like, hey, like, who's for this month? Like, who's for this month? Who's for this month? Like, I mean, you had I was thinking like a picture book artist because we have several in the area for like November. But you also, who did you propose?
I don't even.
For like, you
remember.
had a good November idea, but It was so good I can't remember.
November?
I felt like
Oh,
you
because
did.
that was like homelessness awareness.
Oh, thank you.
And I was thinking pairing with Share the Warmth or something,
Yeah.
talking to
Oh, that's
them,
not a bad
and
idea.
like domestic violence awareness,
Mhm.
pairing with Catherine Cobb, who's our local domestic violence shelter, for those
Yeah.
who don't know.
No, that's not bad. That's not
We were
bad.
thinking like, Artalicious is coming up, maybe not this year, but maybe next year. Literally taking the podcast and taking it with us with the hotspot
Mhm.
around, interviewing artists, and instead of really putting out a full episode of us just shooting the breeze the whole entire time,
Mhm.
do a compilation of us interviewing all those different artists about what they do.
It's not a bad
Yeah.
idea.
Pairing with the schools, local organizations, NAACP group,
Because that could
Adrian
be-
Pride, like the other libraries in the county during library week would be fun, like
Cool.
stuff like that. My mom was like, did you talk to like, my mom was like, the dance studios around town would also be good ones, like,
Yeah.
because we have 3 of them.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. We have like probably more than 3, but we have at least 3
Yeah.
that are at least the main ones that I can think of.
Yeah.
Kind of an additional silliness to the podcast that we were also discussing upstairs
Mm-hmm.
is evolving smack.
Which, I mean, you've already given us ideas.
Evolving it.
To
Put-
what?
Adding more things into the pile and pulling it
We
out.
haven't even gone through that pile.
No, but like evolving it to the point like books, like literal, like
Oh,
Are you going to marry the book or are you going to burn it?
like this versus that versus that.
or like would you rather?
Okay.
Would you rather, do this in a literary book or this in a different literary book?
Well, see, then you got to tell us about the type of binding, the material of the pages. That's a whole different.
Am I gonna get?
Well,
hit
I
with
was
that?
thinking more
Hit
so,
with
would you rather stay in District 13 for 2 weeks and survive out there,
Hmm.
or would you rather have to, I don't know, do something?
One day in Mordor.
Yeah. Like, would you rather do either one? Or just like something
when
really
in
random?
Mordor, and who do I get to be?
Like the end of the third age. or-
Pre melting of the One Ring of Power.
Yeah,
Before-
again, that's a huge time period. Like,
But you've
are we
also
talking,
given us, like,
right before
we get a movie. We have to
or-
make a bad plot out of it. We have to do a romance or a horror plot. Tell us which one it is. Like, I don't know. Like, ideas. Just put them in the pot.
I'm open
Yeah.
to
Speaking
it.
of putting it in the pot, I need to put my hand in here.
Is it that time?
It is that time.
It is that
Is
time.
it? Oh,
Yeah,
Wow.
actually it is.
We talked a little bit more.
So
than
I
thought.
grabbed 2, and I feel like we've already done that one.
probably.
I feel like we've done a lot of these already anyways. I still don't know who that one is, but you can have that one.
Okay, never mind.
I don't know who it is.
Oh.
Andy doesn't know who it is. Alright, so I'm just gonna grab a
Somebody
few.
put it random, like
What is happening?
Just grabbing a couple. Alright, so that one's gonna go back in there. Alright, so I have, because I feel like we've done this one. This one is Mary, Edith, and Sybil.
Oh, we did that one already. Yeah.
So like I said, I feel like we've done that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know who that one is either. Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach. Go.
Wait, that's that one.
No, that's this one.
John Marston from
Hell yeah.
Red Dead Redemption.
But what are the other choices, though?
Abraham Reyes, Bonnie McFarlane.
Oh, here. Kirk, Spock, McCoy. Go.
How have we
Didn't-
not
didn't we-
done that
Didn't
one?
we do that one?
No. I don't think so.
No, I don't think we have done it, but I'm surprised that we haven't.
Kirk, Spock, McCoy.
John-Luc Picard. That's my choice.
I mean, I have a secondary one if you need it.
Snog Kirk, because I feel like he'd be good for that.
Oh yeah, well, I think we have done this.
I'm gonna marry McCoy. 'Cause
Well, we're
he
gonna
just
do it
seems
again
like,
anyways.
for whatever reason, what he's got going for him, he's gonna die early anyway.
Wait,
Sorry.
Bones?
Yeah, he's gonna die. The actor did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's right.
And he's gonna leave me everything. And then I'm gonna kill Spock because I just couldn't take.
Yeah, we have done this one because that's exactly what you said the last time.
The secondary one is Paris, Helena Troy, and Menelaus, or however you say their name.
Menelaus.
Yeah.
Who's Paris?
Oh, Paris is the one that Helen falls and leaves Troy. Well, not leaves Troy for. Paris is the Prince of Troy that Helen
Falls in love
leaves, Menelaus for. Yeah, he's the Orlando Bloom character.
Oh.
He's the Orlando Bloom. Ow! character.
Okay, this is based solely off of that movie.
Yeah.
Ugh. I feel like the smart
Don't know
person. I don't know if there's any smart people in the scenario.
I don't think there are.
Oh, you know what? Actually, that's what you do. To prevent horrors, I'm going to snog Menelaus.
Okay.
I'm going to kill Paris so that Helen doesn't sleep with him. And there's no start to the war, so that Achilles still is alive to be with Patroclus. That's my mom. That's my there.
Okay. I mean, that works.
Meanwhile, while all of you short-sighted people are debating over who you're going to marry, I've been having a snobfest with Scrooge McDuck over here for the past year and a half. So.
Oh my God!
Scrooge
So there's
McDuck.
one in here, and I just feel like I need to actually say it out loud, and I'll find it later and throw it out. But the options are